All right, y'all. Hit the like button, follow, subscribe, enjoy the podcast. All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Shooting Par podcast. This is going to end up coming out a little bit late this week. Didn't know TGL was playing on Monday. So this is probably going to come out after the first TGL match. Will be out before the second, though. So I'll make an announcement on Instagram and all the social medias after I'm done filming it and getting it cut and everything, getting ready to go. But we'll go over the last week's events. We had PGA, LPGA, 5 TGL matches that were pretty good. 4 TGL matches, sorry. For Monday's 3 were really good, and then the Tuesday one was a little bit of a crapshoot, but happens. Europe has announced the captain for the Solheim Cup for next year for their team. And then we'll just get into next week's or this upcoming week's events, which is 3 TGL matches, PGA, LPGA. The Live Golf is off again this week. But real quick, we'll recap last week's events. So PGA, you had the Mexico Open at Vidante World. Vidante World? I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's the golf course. Yeah, I forgot. It's in Vallarta, Mexico. This was a great tournament. Brian Campbell, Aldridge Pottinger, I believe. He's a rookie. Both of them were tied for first at -20. Brian Campbell wins it in overtime or playoffs. Isaiah Salinda, who's also a rookie, -19 in third. Aaron Ray and Ben Griffin are -18. They are tied for fourth. So Brian Campbell, first tour win in 187 PGA Tour sanctioned starts. And like I said, he did it in dramatic fashion. Birdied the second playoff hole to beat Aldrich after Aldrich missed his 6-foot birdie putt of his own on that hole. But even before they got to the putting, Brian Campbell got a ridiculously great bounce as his tee shot was headed out to the right. Thought it was going to be gone and probably would have lost the tournament there. But instead, struck a tree, came back into play, keeping him in play. So it seemed like the golf gods were on his side. I mean, he's been on the tour for quite a bit. 187 tour sanctioned matches or starts is crazy. So it seemed like golf gods were on his side this weekend. And yeah, so from there he was able to get on the green and make his birdie putt where Aldrich missed his. Not too worried about Aldrich or Isaiah Salinda. Both of them are rookies. They're both going to be around for a long time. But for Brian Campbell, really excited for him. Earned himself a job for the next 2 years as he is now PGA exempt for the next 2 years, as well as earned his way into the Players' Championship, Masters, and the PGA Championship, as well as the 5 other remaining of signature events this year. So great for him, really exciting for him. You know, guy's been battling. I think he was saying afterwards that there was a point where he was going to quit golf, he was going to stop playing and all this stuff, and now he's a tour winner. He's won an event. I mean, not a lot of people can say that. So good for him, really exciting. Pottinger, 20-year-old rookie, held the 54-hole lead before shooting even par 71 on Sunday. A little bit sad for him, but it is what it is. Left it open for Campbell. Campbell gutted out that 1 under, forcing the overtime. Campbell was one back going into Sunday. And then Salinda, who, again, like I said, also a rookie, shot well all week, but really did really well the final day, shooting a 6 under 65 to give him a shot at that lead. I believe he was tied for the lead at one point before Campbell and Pottinger ended up staying ahead. So it was good for both of them. And then Aaron Ray, he was the 29th ranked player in the world, highest ranking player in the field as well. Had a chance at the lead before going one over from holes 7 through the finish. So he put himself in a position, didn't really do anything basically from the 7th hole on, other than going one over. So didn't play great. Ben Griffin played okay, but it was really about Brian Campbell. Just how much he's been through, almost quitting, sticking it out. Now he got himself that tour win. He got himself into the Players, the Masters, PGA Championship. He makes a cut here and there somewhere. He's going to make a lot of money, and it'll be good for him. Him and his wife, I believe it's his wife, that went out and celebrated with him afterwards. So they were really excited. But after that, you had the LPGA event, which was the Honda LPGA Thailand, SOLHEIM Country Club Old Course in Thailand. You had Angel Yin come in at minus 28, Aki Iwia at minus 27. I know I'm butchering these names, but I'm trying. Gino Tidikul at minus 21 in third. Patty Tapatanaki, and Moria Jutanagarn, I think, at minus 19, tied for fourth. Good win for Angel Yin, second win of her career. So played really well all tournament. Her worst round was in the first round where she shot a 67 5 under, and then went 8 under, 8 under, 7 under for rounds 2 through 4. So yeah, played really, really well. And she was out of her mind in rounds 3 and 4. Didn't bogey once. Her last bogey actually came on hole 7 of her second round. So hole 8 through the end of the tournament from the second round, she didn't bogey again. So played out of her mind. Earned the win, deserved it. I wasn't able to watch a lot of it. Obviously, time change from here to Thailand is a lot, so didn't get to watch a lot of it, but she played out of her mind, so congrats to her. And then Aki. So she's a Japanese rookie. Hell of a round, or hell of a tournament she played. So she made a huge jump up the leaderboard on Sunday, shooting a 61-11 under to go from 17 to minus 27, challenging for that top spot. But even before that, round 1, she shot 10 under. So she had 2 ridiculous rounds and then 2 okay rounds, in between, but played out of her mind on two of those rounds. So I'm sure she'll be around in future tournaments, and if she can put together 4-round tournament, she'll be near the top again. And then world number 2, Diddy Cool, finished in sole possession of third, hopefully giving her some confidence heading into the next 2 stops on the LPGA's Asian swing, as the tour is now going to head to Singapore, and then it's going to head over to China over the next 2 weeks. So Tavatanaki and Juternagarn both played pretty well this tournament, but I mean, to be honest with you, it was really all about Angel and Aki and just the way that they played. I mean, Angel Yin shooting her worst round, which was 5 under in the first round, and then respectively going 8, 8, 7 for the next 3 rounds is ridiculous. So she was just very consistent, played really well. Again, like basically no bogeys. Even Aki, I think she had a bogey on 17, and then she eagled on 18. So like she was out of her mind for her last round too. But outside of that, we will jump into TGL from last week, which there was a lot that happened. Obviously, 3 matches Monday, 1 on Tuesday. We'll just go through each match and kind of talk about each one. So first match was the ATL Atlanta versus LA. That was at 1 on last Monday. You had the Billy Horschel, Patrick Cantlay, Justin Thomas for Atlanta, Justin Rose, Tommy Fleetwood, Sahith Theegala for LA. Atlanta won it with a ridiculous comeback. They won 6-5 in OT. They went back and forth during the alt shot, the first 9 holes there, with LA taking hole 3, Atlanta taking 4 and 6, before LA took holes 7 and 8. So they had a lead going 3-2 into singles, which is when LA extended that lead to 5-2 after Justin Rose, Tommy Fleetwood both won their singles matches on holes 10 and 11, respectively. So you had basically down 3 with 4 holes to play. From there, Atlanta threw the hammer on hole 13 with Billy Horschel going up against Justin Rose. Horschel won with a birdie to Rose's par, making the deficit just 1 point. With 2 holes to play, Cantlay and Fleetwood tied the par 3 14th, and then Justin Thomas would get next to the green in 2. This was a par 5, so he got next to the green in 2, duffed his third chip, potentially ending the match. But took a deep breath, drained the next chip, forcing overtime. And then in the closest to the pin overtime, Billy Horschel for Atlanta in the first round won by 2 feet 3 inches. Second round, Tommy Fleetwood took it for LA as he holed out his closest to the pin attempt. And then final round, you saw Patrick Cantlay stick it to 5 feet 7 inches, besting Sahith Theegala's attempt by 7 inches or 7 feet 1 inch, which it set the bar high for the rest of the day. It was a hell of a match. I was sitting at work watching it. It was a great match. I didn't get to see the very end. I missed the last closest to the pin because I had a meeting, but hell of a match. A lot of excitement. The new hammer rule really came into play all day, and I think it made it so much better. You had so many more matches that were closer, as you'll see as I'm going through the rest of the matches from the day. A lot of it, like the matches stayed closer, and the teams that, they weren't in the lead right away, they're able to keep it close and kind of get back into the lead, and it's going back and forth instead of it just being one team taking a major jump and just, holding on to the lead and holding on to the hammer for the entire day. So after that second match, you had Atlanta going against the Bay. That was at 4 on Monday, all Eastern times. Atlanta threw out Patrick Cantlay, Lucas Glover, Justin Thomas this time, basically exchanging Billy Horschel for Lucas Glover. And then the Bay threw Wyndham Clark, Ludwig Eiberg, and Minwoo Lee. Minwoo Lee was his debut in the TGL. Him and Ludwig and Wyndham all played extremely well, and they were able to give the Bay a dramatic 6-5 win over Atlanta. So Atlanta won the first one 6-5, loses the next one 6-5, which also was a big thing because it handed Atlanta their first loss of the season. They were looking like the number 1 team for a minute there. They got their first loss in the process there. So the Bay took an early 3-0 lead after 4 holes, which Minwoo Lee chipped in for an eagle to win the 4th hole and get that 3rd point of the night. JT bet on himself again on the 5th hole, throwing the hammer before his 13-foot birdie putt after the Bay was already in for par, drained the putt, making the match a 1-point lead for the Bay. The Bay took hole 7 before Atlanta took hole 9, rounding out the alt shot at 4-3 for the Bay. The Bay took hole 10 with Wyndham Clark birdieing to Patrick Cantlay's par, and then JT took another bet on himself ahead of the 12th hole, throwing another hammer, winning the hole with a birdie on the par 3, tying the match up at 5 apiece. Wyndham in the Bay threw the hammer on the next hole, hole 13, expecting it to be declined as he had the upper hand on Cantlay. They were right. It handed them the 6-5 lead, and they just never relinquished the lead. JT had a chance to tie the match up again on the 15th hole, ended up missing the putt. So, unfortunate for him, but, they played extremely well. It was a hell of a match again. Very exciting, very fun to watch. Both teams kind of going back and forth. Again, the hammer keeping it close really just helps make these matches a lot more fun so that you're not getting these major blowouts. There was one this week, but, you know, for the most part, it's helping to negate these major blowouts that keep happening. And then third match of the day, it was Boston versus the Bay. The Bay had Shane Lowry, Ludwig, and Wyndham exchanging Minwoo Lee for Shane Lowry, and Boston threw out Keegan Bradley, Rory McIlroy, Hideki Matsuyama. Bay kept the adrenaline going from the first match against Atlanta, used it in this match during a hard-fought 5-4 win over Boston, who has continued to play so well, but they just cannot get a win. It's rough for them. They can't get a win. Boston utilized the hammer, hole one, had a Hideki's 4-foot putt, which he buried to give them a early 1-0 lead. This was also Hideki's first time in the SoFi Center, so it was his debut. So hit that 9-foot putt, gave him an early 2-0 lead. Keegan Bradley hit a great chip in for eagle on the 10th to win that hole, tied up before Ludwig holed out or took hole 11 to give the Bay the lead again. Then Keegan got another singles win on the 13th to tie the match back up. Tried to utilize the hammer on the 14th hole to get a 2-point lead going into the final hole, but a 6-foot eagle putt from Aberg tied the hole, kept the match at 4-4 going into the final hole. Both teams tied. That's when, Wyndham Clark got his moment, which he had mentioned earlier in the match because the fans were booing him because he laid up on a par 5. Like, he doesn't care. So he got his moment there. He hit a 10-foot eagle putt to seal the win for his squad, keeping the Bay undefeated on the season. They look like they're going to be probably the best team in TGL, probably going to be the number 1 seed going into the playoffs. All depends on LA. But LA, I think, they lost the first match, so, it's kind of getting a little bit tight, but it's all dependent. The Bay right now is really looking good. Wouldn't be shocked. I believe they play this week. Let me double check. Yeah, they play tomorrow's match on Tuesday. So, but as for last week's Tuesday match, it was Jupiter versus New York back at 7 p.m. Eastern. Like always, Jupiter threw out Tiger Woods, Kevin Kistner, Tom Kim. New York threw out Cameron Young, Ricky Fowler, Matt Fitzpatrick. Funny, New York actually changed their intro music ahead of the match, who they had not won a match going into this. It clearly helped them because they smacked Tiger and Jupiter Lynx 10-3. Wasn't even a contest. Started with 3 quick points on the first 3 holes after scoring literally 2 points all season up to this week. Like, they only had 2 hole wins up to this week, and they won the first 3 holes. Or they won, I think, 2 of them, and I think one of them there was a hammer thrown, so they got 2 points for it. But either way, they then got all the way out to an 8-0 lead after 8 holes, putting on a show as Tiger, Kim, Kistner struggled to get anything going. It was hard to watch at times. But Kim and crew made it interesting. Hole 9, threw a hammer, got it down to a 8-2 deficit heading into singles. Tiger then won the 10th hole, birdieing it again, or birdieing the par 5 against Cameron Young, but Jupiter wouldn't score another point. So on the 13th hole, I think was the only moment where it was kind of funny to watch Jupiter. This was when Tiger was up there. He asked for a distance from Rob McNamara, I believe. Longtime friend of his, business partner, told him 99, meaning 199. Woods hit it 99 yards on the dot. It was 100 yards short of the pin because there was a miscommunication, but it was at least funny to watch. And Kistner and Tom Kim were laughing about it. Everybody was kind of laughing at it, and it was just funny how he just looked pretty stupid there for a minute. but it was the only blowout of the week. And at this point, they're the only team that I see getting blown out from here on out. I mean, they're just not a great team. And I know it would be nice to see Tiger play. He's kind of a hindrance on that team. So, if they go out there with Max Homa instead of Tiger, I think they're fine. But who knows? Like, they just don't look like they've adjusted well to the SoFi Center outside of Tom Kim, who plays really well in the SoFi Center. And then Kevin Kistner's at least funny. So he keeps it entertaining. But outside of that, that was the 4 matches for this past week. For the upcoming week, the match that's going on first is LA versus New York. It's at 5 p.m. Eastern. Again, this is probably coming out after that starts, or after that's probably damn near done. But it's going to be LA with Tony Finau, who signed a 1-day contract. They had a couple of injuries and whatnot. So Tony Finau playing on a 1-day contract with LA, Colin Morikawa, Sahith Theegala, and then New York is Cameron Young, Matt Fitzpatrick, Ricky Fowler. Second match is Boston versus Atlanta. That'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern. So that'll be Boston with Keegan Bradley, Hideki Matsuyama, and Rory, and then Atlanta with Justin Thomas, Billy Horschel, Patrick Cantlay. Tuesday's match is the Bay versus Jupiter at 9 p.m. You'll have Min Woo Lee, Shane Lowry, Wyndham Clark for the Bay, Tom Kim, Kevin Kistner, Max Homa for Jupiter. So I'm excited to see Jupiter play without Tiger. It's hard to take him out of the lineup when he is one of the people that created this league and everything. But again, I just think it needs to happen. I think Tom Kim, Kevin Kistner, Max Homa, those 3 together, I think that's a good team. And I think you'll see them play really well tomorrow. So hopefully they do. But that's all I got for last week's events. We'll go ahead. We'll jump into the golf news for the past week. All right, golf news past week. Not much going on, but Anna Nordqvist was named the European Solheim Cup captain for next year in the Netherlands, as Europe's looking to reclaim the title after losing it on U.S. soil last season. Nordqvist is still active on the Ladies European Tour and is a 3-time champion, major champion. So, she has experience. Great player, still out there playing back in Europe. I'm excited. She's a good player. Hopefully, she can put together a good European team with the rest of their contingency that picks the players. But something that I was reading when I saw that she got announced, she also opened up about her anxiety and stress, which is, something that not enough people talk about or anything. So she kind of talked about it a little bit, saying that, at some tournaments it felt like she was almost unconscious due to her producing high levels of cortisol, which is the stress hormone. It really affected her in some of these tournaments and, affected her play, affected a lot of things. And then right now recently she's undergoing therapy, learning the trauma management to help with the issue. And, one of the tournaments that she said that it affected her in was the Solheim Cup back in Spain in 2023 was when they played it there. So I thought it was really cool that she came out, she's talking about it and putting it out into the world, because, again, not enough people talk about it, like mental side of the game and just mental health in general. So it was cool that she did that. She did say today she feels, well and better, but it took a long time and it's a tough journey, and, it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's something that you have to keep persistent at. So again, really cool. I think that's something that a lot of the younger women players can look to as, support. And, just, I know there's a lot of pressure, especially on the younger generations with social media and everything else. There's always eyes and cameras and everything on you, and, you're always seeing the great things of other people, and makes you less happy with the things that you do have. So it's really cool to see that, and that it's a professional golfer captain for the Solheim Cup. Like, speaking out about it and talking about it. Same thing that I've said when AJ Brown talked about his mental health back when he was with the Tennessee Titans. Like, it's really cool to see these people coming out and talking about it, because there's still the stigmatism that you can't talk about it and you shouldn't talk about it. And I have always thought that's stupid. Like, you should be able to talk about it. You should be able to put these things out there and go find the help that you need. She did it, and now she's the captain for the Solheim Cup next year. So, just because you're in a bad place, you find the help, you talk about it, you express it, and you can end up, not fully recovering. There's never an end to it. You're always going to have to keep working at it, but you can get yourself into great positions and continue to live your life to the fullest, even with, the anxiety, depression, any mental health things like that. So really cool to see that she talked about that. Outside of that, I guess on a lighter note, Luke Clanton, who's still 1 point away from earning his tour card, inked a deal with Nike ahead of his start this weekend. So he will be playing in the Cognizant Classic, looking to get his tour card, but he signed a deal with Nike, which is really cool. I don't know, even if he gets his tour card, if he's going to come right away to the PGA Tour. I think he still wants to win a national championship at Florida State, but really cool to see that he signed with Nike already. First step in his journey, getting that under his belt and whatnot, and then hopefully he'll get his tour card, go finish out his college career, and then jump back into the PGA full-time once he's done in college. Hopefully he can get himself a national championship. It'll be hard to derail Auburn defending national champions, but I mean, if there's a guy who can lead a team to it, it's probably Luke Clanton, who's the number one amateur in the world right now and has been playing out of his mind. So, but that's all I got for the golf news. There wasn't much going on. Just really wanted to talk about Anna Nordquist, obviously being named captain, and then, her actually speaking out about the anxiety, stress, depression, all the stuff that she went through during her playing career and through her life. So outside of that, we'll jump into upcoming events. All right. Upcoming events. Sorry for the throat. I've been talking a lot. So upcoming events, you have the PGA, who has the Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches, PGA National Course, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. LPGA, you have the HSBC Women's World Championship, Sentosa Golf Club, Singapore. And then TGL, you have Monday night with LA versus New York, 5 p.m. Boston versus Atlanta, 9 p.m. All Eastern times. And then Tuesday night, you're going to have the Bay versus Jupiter at 9 p.m. We'll go last week. I had Akshay Bhatia winning. That didn't happen. Gabby Ruffles in top 10. She placed 50th, or tied for 50th. And then I had LA, Atlanta, Boston, Jupiter in that order for last week. All of them lost. Don't know how, but all of them lost. So yeah, it was a rough week for me with my bets. But this week, I'm taking Luke Clanton to make the cut. I don't know what the odds are. I'm sure they're terrible. I'm sure they're not. I'm not going to win anything off of this. But I'm taking him making the cut and getting his tour card this week. I think it's going to happen. So outside of that, I'm taking Hannah Green to win the LPGA. This would be a repeat from last year. She won it last year, so I'm taking her to win it again. And then I'm taking LA, Atlanta, and the Bay. Again, couldn't find the odds on these. I don't know why. But LA versus New York, I'm taking them to win that. Atlanta to beat Boston. I think Atlanta bounces back after going 1-1 last week. And then I think the Bay just keeps rolling over Jupiter, who, again, until I see something out of Jupiter, I'm not really going to pick them. Like, the only match that they won, they beat Boston, who hasn't won a match, in overtime. So, but yeah, that's all I got for you guys this week. Again, this is coming out after probably the first match of TGL. So sorry it's a little bit late, but things happen. But yeah, outside of that, we will see you guys next week.